Hello and welcome back to the PLP. We're in the finishing straight. 10 more days left, 8 of those with some pretty sizable, significant games going on. And we're starting today with just a solitary game in League Two, but what you can't see on the screen there are the two FA Cup semi-finals that are coming up. So that will lead nicely into the summer pause, where of course the FA Cup final will be delayed until mid-June, tying in with the draft and all the playoffs and everything as well. And Matt Warrington, who not so long ago was hopeful of automatic promotion, is now just hoping to be part of those playoffs. We'll see in a sec just how close he is to those automatics. It's not completely out of the question, but it's not looking brilliant. And recent results below him, including from myself, Craig, Jazz certainly, Paul Bustin definitely, has put him within range. You'd say he's still probably safe, especially with this game in hand. But he'd want to get 3 points here just to secure that position and maybe look up rather than down. Impossible to tell whether this is a easy or difficult game because Connor really just turns up when he wants. We're not entirely sure. Could easily win this game and then lose against bottom of the table next week. And that's the reason why he unfortunately is not part of that playoff equation. No Shearer today. Not sure if that's an injury, but it'd be a bit bizarre if he was choosing to rest him, considering I think Connor's only got one more game left after this. Certainly no cup action. At this point, these players are just playing for their futures, I think. Connor likely to get heavily involved in the summer drafting and trading and transferring. Always good for some transfer drama. That looks offside. Of course, part of the problem for Warringham, probably or possibly the reason why he's tailed off slightly in recent weeks, is his ongoing Champions League campaign. He's made it through to the semi-finals. Saw off Atletico over the past 2 weeks, but at least now he can just focus on these final 3 games. The Champions League doesn't pick up again now until after the league season, which so not a problem now, but could be a problem if he's got to juggle that in the playoffs, which is what I had to do last year, and it completely ruined my playoff attempt. Not saying it's the entire reason I lost 6-0 to Chesh, but might have contributed. Not sure how Haaland hasn't got himself on the score sheet yet. Saw briefly there, he's already bagged 31 so far this season. Far more than anyone. The nearest challenger is actually Shearer, so I was hoping for a bit of a battle royale today. Kenny Dalglish decided otherwise. About to say, surely it's coming. He's been knocking on the door since the very first minute. This is it. Still not. Don't know why the computer keeps glitching just as a shot takes place. Not very helpful to anyone. Haaland, who's missed a few chances in front of goal, buries one from 25 yards instead. That's 32. And that's why anyone who faces him in the playoffs is an immediate disadvantage. I think another reason for him tailing off in recent weeks has been just the copious amounts of red cards that have been taking place. Haaland getting one of them, I think Wan-Bissaka, and there was another one as well. Mascherano, was it? Not sure who the latest one was. But that has led to the Milan Baros and Dean Ashton trying to hold the fort with Haaland out. That 3-game ban. does play. He's pretty much unplayable. I think I've said in the past, you're basically starting 2-0 down before the game's even started. That helps though. Bit harsh on Robbie Fowler not to claim that. I still think Robbie Fowler could become one of the greatest assets on this project. He's only 20, I think, on the game. If he could stay injury free, him and Shearer, I still think for Connor could be an immense weapon in the years to come. Also helps if Gary Cahill nods it into his own goal. To be 1-1 without a single shot on target is pretty impressive. Glitching again just as the shot gets let off. It's actually Connorwich finishing the stronger of the two. Like I said before, his whole season has just been so inconsistent, difficult to predict. To 2. Oh, Jared Bowen. Can Connor get his first shot on target to go 2-1 up? It's got to be pretty rare. Oh, Carvalho, he's done what Warringham have been doing in recent weeks. Thought he was a left winger, realised he wasn't, threw a tantrum. And how costly is that going to be? You'd think very... Oh, that stayed out. Offside anyway. And this would be 2 massively dropped points for Matt, unless he can conjure something here. Sane. It is. It just keeps things a little bit dicey. Forward it on to the FA Cup. There we go. First up, the 2 Spurs fans going head to head. Jari Litmanen retaining his place after a couple of goals the other day. And that strong team that's all but secured the League 2 title. For the actual Spurs representatives. Maybe this game means slightly more to Dan, considering the sort of below par league season he's had, let's say. Started well. This semi-final almost hasn't. VAR, what's it going to say? He's an early reprieve. But yeah, I was going to say, Dan City Cal did get off to a really good start. Then tailed off, never really recovered. Bit of a bizarre league lineup today, actually. It's good to see Litmanen retain his place. But Ian Brightwell, who came on in the second half the other day in the league, also in the team. And Gross keeping out Roy Keane unless there's some sort of injury or suspension at play. Always possible with Roy Keane. But for Loz, obviously, as much as he'd surely like to add an FA Cup trophy to his portfolio, he has all but secured that League 2 title, already promoted. Guaranteed League 1 football next season. And another decision for VAR, which we're not used to seeing. Applying our trade in League 2 and League 1 in the project so far. This time, it's in Loz's favour. Rat man up. You'd love to see it. Oh, if ever a moment summed up that man. Why don't you have a word with your agent and tell the goalkeeper to move next time? I think that's how it works. I don't mind if Darren Anderton scores, but whatever happens in this game, I've enjoyed it. Alderweireld. That is how you bury a chance. It's actually been Canute keeping out Ratman in recent weeks. And that's why. I'm not saying that Canute wouldn't have tried the same, because it's got Freddie written all over it. But in terms of this semi-final, it's been all white Hart Chamberlain so far. Cal's going to need a huge second half if he wants to make that final in June. It would be quite nice. It's likely that Dan will get involved with that draft weekend. I think Loz is on wedding duties for Dan Gregory, so won't be making an appearance. Van der Ven popping up. How dearly Loz would like to prize him away for next season. Let's say it's unlikely. Mido! Another person very prone to a Panenka opportunity, I'd have thought. Can Calv conjure anything in this final 10 minutes? Maybe Ryan Giggs? He has been known to come up with some heroics in the FA Cup in the past. Here he is. Surely not. I've talked it up the other way for a change. Usually I'm cursing people left, right and centre. I've actually predicted something correctly. The end is nigh. Shirt off, rug revealed. Giggs wheels away. Oh, he couldn't, could he? Whew. Could be heading for extra time. Drama. Ian Brightwell with an assist. Love to see it. The inherited lad. The guy who could pretty much play anywhere. Putting in a man of the match performance. Are we heading for pens? Isak's got another chance to balloon one into somebody's hands. No, Brightwell taken off just before the business end. That's a shame. Might not need it. It's Hasselbank. Is he on? He is. Linesman's not moving, which is confusing, but it stands. And Calv is heading for an FA Cup final. Jimmy Floyd probably hasn't got as much game time in this project as you'd hope or expect, but he's always able to do that. 3 minutes away, 2-1, and damn City Cal at the end of a pretty torrid season are heading to Wembley again for the FA Cup final. Congratulations, mate. Immediately following, which I don't quite understand considering I'm pretty sure both semi-finals take place at Wembley. Feels more like a five-a-side tournament when you're a kid. Bring on the next teams. Filter 80,000 people out and another 80,000 in. Efficient work from the FA. And it's Cheshampton up against the Red Whall, who are also seeking a double, a bit like White Hart Chamberlain. Already secured the Carabao Cup. One of the form teams of everyone this season, but I'm pretty sure in terms of the Premier League, the Premier League, League 2 at the moment, it's League 2 against League 1. What am I talking about? It's 4th versus 5th from League 2, and it's 5th that have taken an early lead amongst my inane babble. Corby Mainu dropping the shoulder. It's one of the only non-Man United players on the score sheet. First ever goal for the Red Whall, and what a time to do it. A few changes in Cheshampton's team, by the looks of it. I don't recall seeing Zenden much this year. Kalu being rewarded for a late goal from him the other day. It was a goal that's put Cheshampton right on the cusp of automatic. I'd say maybe second favourite for that third spot in League 2 at the moment. It's the Sky Lose that he's got to worry about, because they've got the games in hand. Chesh narrowly missing out in the playoff final last year. Won't really want to go through that ringer again. I mean, if he does make it through to this final and the playoffs, really good to see him over that summer weekend. He's going to have some hefty involvement. To be fair, as will the Red Whall, who are in the exact same position. And Kalu, is he on? He is. What a finish. 2 goals in 2 games. Seemingly keeping out Mo Salah today. Oh, Scholes off the post. I'm not sure how that Anthony follow-up didn't constitute a highlight. Must have been dreadful. It's been end to end. This Wembley crowd, presumably here for both games, just got a day pass, enjoying themselves. Nine shots apiece. Dead level. Interesting to see Berbatov keeping his place in the last few weeks. It was Solskjaer for most of the early part of the season. Brief glimpses from Dwight York, Heidegger Johnson and Brian McClare. But it's Dimitar that seems to have established his place at the business end of the season. Cahill off to punch a corner flag. Of course, Chess won't even find out that he's made an FA Cup final or potentially getting promoted, because he's seemingly gone on strike in the past few weeks. I think he had a couple of bad results and threw his toys out of the pram. At this point, I would suggest picking up those toys and plodding yourself down back in your cot, enjoying this. Maybe not right now, but in general. The Red Whall, so difficult to beat this season. There were no signs of it last. It's not like he did a whole lot over the summer. Did a couple of careful pickups like Calafiori, but it wasn't anything drastic. Didn't change his manager, stuck with Ten Hag. And what has happened there? Steve Bruce just smashed it into his own goal from 20 yards. Sancho, what has happened there? Deschamps wheels away. Bruce hammers one with his left foot, and it's taken a deflection off Sancho, who's taken the blame, bless him. What is Brucey doing? Steve, he's only just come on the pitch, obviously hadn't been paying attention, wasn't told which way you're shooting. That is classic Steve Bruce. Not only has he got a cabbage head, he's got a cabbage brain. And it's cost his team a place in the FA Cup final. Well done to Chesh. I mean, I say that lightly because, to be honest, it's Steve you should be thanking. Poor Jadon Sancho is going to go down in the history books as his own goal. That's only because his substitute centre-back decided to rifle a left-footed beauty into his own goal from 20 yards. Bizarre. So, FA Cup final, Calv against Chesh, coming up in the summer. And the only thing left for us to do in the meantime is to check the League 2 table. And see what Warringham's draw has done for them. It's not a whole lot. So, again, you'd say they're okay, but those games in hand for Bustin, who can move within 1 point of him now, and those 2 games in hand for myself, make it a little bit dicey. If Craig's not out of the picture, of course. Both of us are in action on the Sunday, which will be coming up shortly. And yeah, still a lot to play for, but congratulations again to Mr. Cheshire, Mr. Calvert, who will face off, hopefully in person, during that draft weekend. Catch you again soon.